You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Miss something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go kill season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Star season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Star season to go and you know those crystal children. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Star season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we on the mission. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the roads. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
I attune myself to the creative impulses that seek to dwell in, through, and as me today, as we express, or as the divine expresses through us, to dive into the unknown and make it just a little bit more known to you. You get to shape it any way you want to. You get to take it and mold it. Ra says, their words don't have to be your words. They're just giving you the divine message from the law of one, the one true oneness. The one true oneness. It's all or nothing. You get to take it in as an all, or you get to leave it as a nothing. We're not here to change your minds. We're here to give you a possibility of how you can change your mind, how you can grow and expand, how you can shift, and how you can evolve. No two people are alike. You're unique, you're sovereign, you're authentic. So take the words of Ra, take what resonates for you, and leave the rest in the room as energy so somebody else can use that energy and grow themselves. Are you ready? Are you ready to dive a little bit more into the unknown? Because guess what? The unknown is within you. Find out a little bit more about your spirituality, your divinity, your rawness of the form. That's what it is, rawness of the form. You're shaping the form. You're shaping you. And the exuberance and the expansion of the conscious mind. Because guess what? The conscious mind is consciousness that is aware of itself in all of its awareness. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready, Marcus?
I am ready. Grateful to be here.
You know, on the last episode, we learned that you have to make yourself, or you have to put yourself in the mix. You're the lead in your story. You get to write it and produce it and direct it, and it's all on the what you call it, the screen of illusion. Think of illusion as being right out in front of you. And you get to take it and shape it according to you. No two experiences are going to be the same. You get to play in the playground, however, you get to play with the toys that Ross says we as mankind we're too involved with the toys. Hence, the popular consensus going around that can we give our electronics, our bots, as we call them, are the new AI. Let's just go ahead and say it. I was trying to get around saying that word, but we want to give, can we as mankind give AI consciousness? I know you've heard it. And as mankind, of course, we can give AI consciousness as we see it, as we feel it, as we're growing through it. But here's the thing. Do we really want to give AI our consciousness? That's a deep question, because that means that you have to go deep, oh, deep into you. That means that you got to get to know you before you can start giving away what's you. Because if you're giving an AI a version of your consciousness that's not for the highest and greatest good of yourself, and if it's not for yourself, let alone for the rest of those that you're serving, what are you giving? It's okay to be and play with our AIs as toys. But when we want to be a creator, we got to know what we're creating. That's all Ra is saying. Know that you are the creator. Know that you are the one true creator in human form. That you've got a conscious mind and you can create whatever you want to create. But here, ask a question. An embodying question is what I'm creating for the highest and greatest good of myself and all. All in the story. What happens when I opt out of the story and I've created this? That's all Ra wants you to know. Bring yourself into the creative story. Don't sit on the sidelines. And when stuff is not working, blame other people on the sidelines. Right? You're a magnificent, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. The word might seem atrocious, but that's what you are. That just sent shivers all up and down my body. So I'm going to hand it back to Marcus, because he's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, ready to get us started. And I think we all need to grab a little. I think we all need to open ourselves up. Can you lead us on that, Marcus?
Oh, absolutely. With honor. I would love to. My internet is choppy on this side, so I will continue to flow as I can and just move through it. But if you would like to join us in this grounding practice or exercise, feel free to get comfortable, and you can either be standing, you can sit or lay down, whatever you feel. And we're just going to take a moment to bring some focus inward. We're going to draw a few conscious deep breaths and guide those breaths down our body to the earth, to ground and anchor to the earth. And if you have any racing thoughts, you have any past things that are bothering you, if you have any emotions that are overwhelming, anxious, depressed, feeling disconnected, bring those forward with your breaths. Think about them with your conscious mind and allow those to flow with your breath as you think about them. Whatever it is that you may be either struggling with, maybe having racing thoughts or overwhelming or depressive emotions, feel free to bring them forward. So as you get comfortable, relax the body, relaxing our shoulder side, and then checking in with our fingers, making sure that our fingers are not balled up in a fist. And then checking in with the toes, making sure that they're flat on the ground and not curled. And then lastly, checking in with the jaw, making sure that our jaw is loose. We're not clenching our teeth. The reason why we do this is to make sure that our body is soft and open instead of holding tension and creating blockages within our energy waves. So now continuing, we're going to now bring focus to the breath. And you can close your eyes to go inward, or you can keep your eyes open, whatever you prefer. And we'll draw the breath in through the nose, expanding the stomach. And then draw that breath down the body to the earth. And then raise it up and exhale out of the mouth. In through the nose, down the body, exhaling out of the mouth. In through the nose, down the body, out of the mouth. Go ahead and repeat this 3 more times on your own, at your own pace. Remember, if there's anything lingering, any struggles, you can bring it forward and release it through the breath. And then as you finish, go ahead and take one last biggest deep breath that you've taken today and hold it at the top. And release. Affirm, if you would like to. Affirm in your own space. I am grounded. I am centered. I am open. I am connected. I am the bridge.
I
May spirit open your eyes, move your body, and feel free to share in the comments how that was for you, if you wish.
As you could
And
see,
may we carry forward this
it was
momentum.
cleared a lot of throat chakra. It was like the moment we started. Mm. Mm. The questioner asked Ra, if an individual makes effort to act as a catalyst in general to increase awareness of planetary consciousness, not just only the singularity of that person, but when we hold space for our planet, is he of any aid in that direction, or is he doing nothing but acting upon himself? This is an embodying question, because we tend to, as human beings, think that when people are saying, I'm going to pray for the planet, that they are doing it because they want to be noticed. Right? That's what we're taught. That everything that we do is selfish. Not selfless, but selfish. Ra answered, we shall answer your question in two parts, both of which are important equally. Firstly, you must understand that the distinction between yourself and others is not visible to us. Why? Because we're wholeness. We do not consider that a separation exists between the consciousness raising efforts of the distortion which you project as personality and the distortion that you project as another personality. This distortion is that we as humanity see ourselves separate from each other. And Ra just says we see you all as one. Ra says, thus, to learn is the same as to teach unless you are not teaching what you are learning. In which case, you have done you/them little good. If you're not teaching what you're learning, you're doing a disservice to everything that is all and that is nothing. You've come here to learn. No. The divine says you've come here to play, and in playing, you are learning. You are taking on your wisdom and your understanding, and you are sharing it as a unified connection. Unified, sovereign connection. This understanding should not be pondered by your mind, body, and spirit complex, as it is a distortion which plays a part in your experience at your nexus. If you try to ponder it with your mind, you're going to confuse yourself, because your mind only knows a straight line. It was given to you with a purpose. To show and bring in the outside world to you, to become unified with your spirit or your higher being, which now helps you discern what you're seeing and what you want to know and why you want to know it and what you want to know it for. And how you want to share it with the others that are part of you. That's right, part of you, the oneness of you. The divine said, I want you to bookmark this because this is what I want you to share. You are wholeness. You are a part of wholeness. You have never stopped being a part of wholeness. And how you share that with how you decide to share it is totally your own. You can share it with only your collective, only those that have awoken and that are part of your grouping, or you can share it with the all. Because you're a part of the all. You're a part of the all that is politics. You're a part of the all that is old religion. You're a part of the all that is dogmatic schooling. You're a part of the all. How are you going to bring yourself to be a part of the all? With the learning, with the playtime on earth consciousness, with the wisdom and understanding, the learning and teaching, the teaching and learning, the wholeness. The second, Ross says, turn to the second part of our response. May we state our understanding through limited through it. Right? He's going to focus on this now. They're going to focus on this. Group individuated consciousness is the state of sharing understanding with other distortions of mind, body, spirit complexes, which are within the evident reach of the mind, body, spirit complex. Thus, we are speaking to you and accepting both our distortion and your own in order to enunciate the laws of creation, more especially the law of one. We are so much talking. We came out of one group saying, we're free. And then within the group that we moved into our freedom with, we moved into another group. And now we close it off. The divine wants me to use an example. Music is octaves and notes of the universe, yet we call it either secular music, religious music, spiritual music. We separate it. Instagram is having trouble loading the live for my Instagram. So, there's things going on. We can't redo. So either it's going to come back or not. We're going to keep going. Right? Ross says, we are not available to many of your peoples, for this is not an easily understood way of communicating or a type of philosophy. Channeling is not the easiest thing to do for the hierarchy of the divine, because most people are not tuned in, tapped in, and turned on to it. They rather resist it. But guess what? The divine says, let that be so. Nonetheless, Ra says, we do it. However, our very being is hopeful for an example of both the necessity and the near hopelessness of attempting to teach. That even though they teach, some people get it and more people don't. They're going to still keep doing it. They're going to still keep doing it. Ross says, Each of those in this group is striving to use, striving to digest, and striving to diversify the information which they are sending to many channels. You know what channels are? You are the channel. You have a dial on the channel. And you get to broadcast if you so choose. You are the body, mind, spirit complex without distortions. You are the channel if you so choose to be. Ross says, few of whom will illuminate by sharing their light are far more than enough reason for the greatest possibility of them to stick around. And they still are around. And they still are channeling. They say it doesn't have to be the all that they talk to. But if you want to be a channel, it's okay. You're a channeler. So let's see. You're sovereign. You're a creator. You're a channeler. You're a mind-body complex. You are the is and the is not. And your wholeness. So even if you're looking at somebody who you're not liking what they're saying, it's okay. You're part of the wholeness of them. And it's okay to still have unconditional love for them and not like what they say. Any woman who has been a mother knows this. You can love your children immensely, but not like the shit that they do. Ask any mother whose child, male or female, is in jail right now, on death row. They may not like what their children have done, but they still love them immensely. That's unconditional love. So you're a channel. You broadcast. You're sovereign at it. You're individual and at the same time wholeness. How freaking awesome is that? You get to be whatever you want to be in the group that you want to be. You want to be part of the 144, or you want to be a part of the collectives, whatever collectives you want to be. The divine says, go ahead, be that. That's a choice. That's an experience. But don't ever forget that you're wholeness. That you're not separated from anything that's out there. Your wholeness. Any question about that? How do I work my wholeness? Doesn't mean you have to be in the presence of people that do things that you don't like just because you're part of the whole of them. They're having an experience. You can opt out anytime you want. That's part of playing the game. And Earth Consciousness Playground is big enough where you could still be a whole part with someone and never ever see them playing on the playground. Wow. Ross says, attempt to discern and weave your way through as many group mind, body, spirit distortions as possible among your people. In the course of your teaching, it's a very good effort to make. There is always going to be something someone is teaching that is for the highest and greatest good of someone else. It doesn't have to flow through you. It doesn't have to be your teachable moment. It doesn't have to come with a judgment from you to take away from someone else who is learning something a little bit different than you. You're still wholeness of that person. If you feel that you have to bring negative energy into a room and debate something, then you have to ask yourself, what within me am I seeing that I am reflecting the need to debate it, to resist it, to not allow somebody else to gain wisdom and understanding from it, even if it's not for me. That's going to, that embodying question is going to come up. The moment that you bring that energy up as a negative response, instead of just letting it flow, life will bring itself right back around to you and say, here I am. You're resisting that again. Ross says, we can speak no more valiantly of your desire to serve. May we speak in another capacity upon another subject. Ra keeps saying in his first, in the first, book one, in this book, in the first couple of chapters, the question keeps getting asked, and it just gets asked a different way. And Ra says, you're asking the same question. I can't answer it any more visual than I already have. Your wholeness. But you're each singular and unique in your experience. Let someone else have their experience. Love them. But even if they're experiencing lower density energies like hate and lack, doesn't mean you have to be in their presence. And you can't stop them from experiencing their story. What you can do is opt out. But you get to opt out with love. And it's the hardest thing to do. You look at all of television and you say, why do people hate so much? And why this and why that? It's because they're each having a unique story, and they found individuals that they can commune with like-minded stories. Just like being on a playground, being a little kid. Everybody converging on the tetherball court or the volleyball court or the baseball court. Or back then when I was doing it, it wasn't baseball, it was softball. Everybody that wanted to converge with reading books, they called them the bookworms. So they sat up under a lunch bench under a tree, and they all were reading books. The bullies sat in a corner of the school ground trying to figure out who they were going to bully next. Those were experiences and stories. You get to love them because you're wholeness. Because you came from the wholeness thereof. But you came into a foreign body as an expression of the divine. I'd say, things that make you go, Back to you, Marcus.
Things that make you go, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Things that make you go.
So I like to share kind of like this with you guys. Feel free to explore this vision, this imagery of what we're speaking on here. Think of it as like, there's a big, vast ocean. Now, we know that ocean is an ocean. But then within that ocean, is water, making up that ocean. And within that water and ocean is many different beings, many different species, from different plants, different animals, so on and so forth. With that being said, now, are all of the plants and all the animals, are they separate from the ocean, or are they all in the ocean, a part of the ocean life? So think about that. Think about us as humans and the cosmos or the universe. Same type of deal, just a more macro and expanded level. And with that I also invite you to think too, like, think of seeing a streamline of energy or a streamline of water in the ocean. With all of our beings, the breaths that we take, the mental consciousness that we are always exploring 24/7, whether it's in a physical consciousness or an astral and others, we all get the eternal energy. We all get the infinite consciousness exploring through us. The only real differences is that there are different mechanics. There's different functions. There's different degrees of how we are placed together or assembled into this being, into this form. With that being said, it's almost like consciousness is at this default or neutrality. And then once it enters into your energy field, it then changes from being a default neutral energy into whatever it is that you're being as a transmitter, as a attunement system, as a coded blueprint. It then translates, expresses, and utilizes the neutral consciousness that we are all a part of. And with that being said, the neutral consciousness is what it is. And that's where our own intentions come in, as well as the embodiment that our being is at. Like I was saying a moment ago, our being acts kind of like that filter system or that transmitter of the neutral energy to be brought into something of life, whatever that may be to you. And this is why we always hear, what's your intention? What do you want this to be? What do you want this experience to be for you moving forward? Because literally we have this filter system, this transmitter, that we get to use our free will and intentions with, and then co-create with that. And I also want to remind us, if we were separate from Creator, from God, from higher power, how is it that we would even be existing? How is it that there would be living breath moving through us? How is it that we would be able to give prayer, go into meditation, to connect and feel what is the most high to ourselves in our own authentic way? Along with that, if you're someone of the Bible or you're someone of many other scriptures, in our own Bibles and text, it says that we are the temple. If we're the temple of God, If we are the temple of the living spirit, how can it be separate from us? If in the book of Thomas, one of the missing books from the Bible, says, "Look over at this log and lift up this rock, and you will find me there. Look over at that stream, and you will find me there." Jesus is telling us, you guys can do the things that I can do, but even more. That separation mindset, there is no right or wrong to it. Just keep in mind the type of delusions it will continue to manifest and place us into an embodiment experience of. So yeah, maybe you can make it a goal. Make it a goal to start dissolving separation in your life. Start to embrace and open up to the receptiveness of wholeness, of balance, of universal oneness. And there's many benefits that can come with that. You know, it could really help your anxiety, it can help with depression, it can help activate your energy centers more. You could feel more secure, more at peace within yourself because you feel like you have a perfect placement within this creation. And along with that, you're able to start seeing there's not truly anything that's against me. There's not something outside of me or separate that is battling me or is trying to take me over, try to destroy me. Even the things that are causing resistance, even the frequencies that don't resonate with, are nothing more than mirrors. Other contrast expressions of not just outside world experience, but expressions and experiences of who I am. And through my perception, my filter system, I perceive it with where I'm at. If I don't like what I'm perceiving, then I've been given the free will and the divine gift of being able to shift my consciousness. Such power we have to be able to just snap of a finger. I'm done feeling irritated. I'm done feeling angry. I'm going to go step my feet onto the earth and take a deep breath. I am going to start doing the things that I love a little bit more. Back to you.
Yeah. All I can say is I dream of Jeannie. And her mother Endora, she used to snap her fingers. And Bewitched used to, they gave these signals of them moving energy. It's just, when he said, you have that power, they've been trying to figure out that power. They get it in dreams, and they write it in their scripts, and they put it in there as entertainment for you. But it's knowledge and wisdom. It's the learning and the teaching. They just don't know that they're giving you a teachable moment in fun, right? Blue Goddess says, I allow myself to receive all of this energy, and I am grateful Do you know that grateful is a tool for you to use to create with? Right? Let's read some more. The questioner says, "Will you be available for communication? Can we call on you in the future?" Ross says this, and the divine, it's how they're using the vessel that Ra's channeling through. Because all the time that Ra is doing all these books, Ra is concerned with the vessel. And it keeps the questioner looped in. Because sometimes we can forget about the vessel. We can forget about the vessel that is translating, or the vessel that is sharing. Right? So Ra says, "I am Ra. We have good contact with this instrument." Ra calls the vessel the instrument. Ooh, can you imagine the instrument, like playing a flute or the guitar or the drums? You're the instrument. Because of her recent experience with trance, she is able to communicate with our thoughts in your future. Right? A now moment. That's past, present, and future. Now moment. Ross says, "However, we advise care in disturbing the channel for a few minutes, and then the proper procedure for aiding the instrument who has to some extent the need of re-entering the mind-body complex, which the instrument has chosen for this life experience." So she has to come back from her, what you might call her meditative or her trance, re-enter her body, reintegrate, take some time, hydrate, right? And then she can go back. She can become that vessel again. Some people have been called to channel. Some people haven't. And it's okay. Everybody has, every gift is the same gift. God did not say, or the divine did not say, or the awareness or matrix or illusion did not say everybody gets a little something different. Everything's there. It just depends on what is opening up based on what your communicative skills are with the divine. Some people, they don't know that they're communicating with the divine. They're just tuned in, turned on, and they don't even think about having a spiritual awakening. They are living life. Normally, we call those people, "Oh, those are lucky people. They always get what they want, and they're so lucky. I wish I was them," because they are living their life. They're not thinking that they're separate. They're thinking about wholeness. They're thinking about growth and expansion, but not they're just playing in it. And when their gifts show up, they just go, to the play box and say, "Okay, I'm going to play with this one." They take care of themselves the best they can. They might not eat or do the things that you do to take care of your body. They might not eat holistically, but they eat 3 meals a day. They don't overeat. They don't overdo anything. Maybe. Who knows? Jack Benny was a person, he died well into his 90s. At that point, that was really tremendous because they believed he smoked, he ate whatever he wanted, he had any girlfriend he wanted, he lived his life, he enjoyed his life. He smoked, he drank, he danced, he smoozed, whatever. He did it all. But what he did was everything he did, he enjoyed himself. He lived the experience. What they found out is he didn't listen to people tell him what he couldn't do and what he could do. He just did it. And he always said, I care about people and I want to make them laugh. It's about bringing yourself to your story, moving yourself into the forefront of what your experience is, and taking control of that, how you want to see it, how you want to feel it. The people that you have in your story, or on your chessboard, or on your checkerboard, you get to move that. You're playing against you. You get to jump between chairs and play with you. When you're playing with consciousness, you're playing with you. Take care of you. You're the broadcast. Take care of you. Think about you. Self-love, self-respect, admiration. Are you waiting for someone to admire you? Well, and you're going to get mad because they're admiring you their way, and their way doesn't grow and expand you? Then show them what you admire about you. You're the broadcast channel. Broadcast it. Back to you, Marcus.
Ooh.
We're the broadcast channel. Broadcast.
And you know, another thing too is the more that we're able to embrace, the more that we're able to remember and embody wholeness, interconnectedness, oneness, we can also dissolve more of our attachments that we have in our life. And these attachments could be to partners, people, places, habits, things that are not truly continuing to serve us of where we are and where we're heading. For example, say you're just holding on for dear life with this one partner that you're with. Well, you've continued to have cycles and patterns over and over and over that you guys are not resonating any longer. You're just so worried because you believe that they are the one, and you don't know what you would do without them, or that they have to be your other half to make you feel complete. If we can remember wholeness, interconnectedness, we could remember that, number one, we are connected to them beyond the flesh, beyond the human identity. Number two, there are others out there. And when I say others out there, others that will embody, that will be of the frequency, that will be of the lifestyle, that does support your authenticness, that supports who you're becoming or what your intentions are. We're so vast, so expansive, that literally the universe can assimilate right into your energy field. The next person that would fulfill this for you in your life. But you have to want it. You have to ask for it. Also take the actions and steps that will put you in the position for it as well. So say you're really wanting a certain type of partner in your life, but you're still holding on to that partner, that you can see the gap expanding in resonance. You're so worried about how they're going to feel, what they're going to do if you break up or if you move forward. But then you're also in your true spirit and soul wanting to open up to a partner that's more resonant for you and where you're heading. Now, how is it that we're going to allow the space or attract into our life what it is that our soul is literally calling over and over through us to want in our life? But we feel lack. We feel like we are not whole and have to hold on to this one individual. You can think of this in many other different aspects of our life. But my whole point to bring this up is when we can see that picture of wholeness, everything being connected within all that is, knowing that nothing is truly lost or received, but is a change of energy, a change of form. In souls, so we may even be connecting with that same soul, but in a different body, as a different partner. So last thing I want to say is try to find ways to embrace the unknown. When you embrace that unknown, also know that that unknown is really not even that unknown. It's quite infinite. And also caters to you. It serves you. The unknown serves you. Even though it's unknown to our human senses, it's still serving. So even if it's unknown and we embrace it, we know that within that unknown blank space, so to say, there's room for us to articulate. There's room for us to splash the paint, to express, to place our intentions for manifesting and attracting. And when you enter into that unknown space, which can seem very scary, it can seem like very triggering, confusing. Try to remember this. When we're in those spaces, it's an opportunity to almost have a fresh start. Really opportunity to be able to take a space of solitude or deep reflection upon what it is that you would like to make out of the unknown. What type of path would you like to carve through this blank slate of unknown energy or unknown experiences that are coming into your field? So embodiment and intention. The more we just bypass our life, the more we just sit back and just say, oh, this savior is going to do it all for me. Divine is just going to do all this for me. Now, don't get me wrong. Yeah. With your consent and permission, you can allow your guides to do a lot of things for you. But keep in mind, being on the ground, there is groundwork with having these avatars.
Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes. All I can say is yes. Right? Our eternal spirits that came into this existence with us, that walk with us, our ancients that walk with us, they cannot do anything unless we give them permission. They honor the law of one. And the law of one says we have free will. Now, they can slightly move things out the way. You kind of go, oh, that car almost clipped me. They stood in the middle of it and they kind of prevented it from happening. But it's because they were given a process of things that they were supposed to do in the story, like whisper and give you and navigate, and you get the choice. Here's an example. You go the same way to work every day. You take the same 12 streets, come hell or high water, as my mother used to say. Then this one day, you come to a stop sign. And you hear this whispering that says, go right. You know, that's a little intuition. Third eye, or what I call first eye. It says, go right. But no, I gotta do the same trick. I'm just going to ignore it. And then you go right. And as you're going through a stop sign, you get clipped by a car. Right? And that little inkling in you was, I had a moment when you're talking to someone else. I had that moment before I got to that stop sign that I should have made a right. I guess I should have listened. Your higher being, as it's coming online, while it's honoring the fact that you have free will, it's giving you, it's guiding you, it's being your internal compass, but it's giving you choice. For me, at the point where I woke up, I couldn't go back to sleep. I had to say all or nothing. It's like me being a little kid, climbing the fence and being one leg over and one leg, I haven't put the other leg over and just sitting there and swinging my legs and making a decision. Do I want to, if I go over the gate to play ball on the playground and I'm climbing the gate because the gate is locked on a weekend. So all of us kids did that. And I remember I would always sit there and have a discerning moment. And as a kid, I would decide, okay, leg over, all or nothing, go play ball until if we get caught today, we get caught. Right? We get to have one leg over. We get to have one leg into the unknown, and we get to straddle the unknown until we want to take that deep dive and go, I'm all in. And then, if you're like me, I just went, my angels have, as long as it's for my highest good and my free will and the free will of those that I'm serving, intercede on my behalf, show me what I need to see that I haven't seen. And I do that. And I tell my ancients, come follow me. So I look back and going, good. People look at me and go, why are you looking back? It's like, I'm making sure they're there. But You get to do whatever you want to do. The reason why we're saying that Ra is saying you are wholeness is because those ancients that came before you, that came before you, even before the earth realm, that came before you in the divineness and wholeness of other planetary and other galaxies. They're there, walking before you, pushing things aside, vibratorily. You get to act like you got them in front of you. If you remember every movie that you've ever saw where the king was walking, he had guards at all sides. In every movie, in every Sinbad movie, every movie that you've ever watched. In every movie that you've ever watched where they showed the president of any country, they've always had all these people that surrounded them, protecting him. You are the consciousness of the divine in expression. And the divine said, I'm sending my child out, and I'm sending him out with guards. He's always protected. She's always protected. And as she becomes more, or as he becomes more aware of it, she gets to be the transmitter that transmits to your spiritual guardians what you want them to do or not to do. Yeah, I said it. To do or not to do. They are wholeness within you. And they acknowledge that you, as the form being and the conscious mind, have free will. Even your higher being that sculpted you knows that you have free will. So even if it is starting to come online, starting to come become awake from its mini slumber, as it's waking up, it's acknowledging that you have free will. So it will be the small voice that you hear. It will speak to you through your third or your first eye and be intuitive. And like Marcus was saying, you don't need anyone to make you whole. There is not a piece of you that is lost that you need to find in someone else. Your wholeness, bringing yourself to someone else, hopefully, that is wholeness as well. No matter where they sit in their story or their growth and their expansion. Esale yeso sonotoko alemi shanotoko ariyesu tatimakwa macho atiendate shuta yemto e choshena toku unta echo tuko ate tuhate ke nakwate. You came to spread your wholeness into that which needs to become whole. Form needs to become whole. Form needs the light shined into it. It is the vastness of the unknown form. The moment you came out of your mother's birth canal and took your first cry, that was you in form, shedding light everywhere in octaves. The spirit of the divine is knocking at your door. Can you imagine the spirit of the divine taking its spiritual lit hand and just knocking at your door so it could talk to your heart chakra to remind you that you are exquisite, you are unique, you are precious, and you are a powerful expression of the divine. You're that expressive. Back to you, Marcus. Oh, what?
Ooh-wee. My dad's in the other room watching the live right now.
Wonderful.
And he gave a good old approval.
Thank you, Dad.
Chills just ran down my spine. Welcome in, Blue Goddess Cosmic Roots. I know you're new to our spaces. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, Ross said, I'm not going to do the questioner, but I'm going to do what Ross said, because the divine. Ross said, I give you this information. This is towards the end of book 1. Right? Ross says, I give you this. First he says, I am Ra. I give you this information so that it would, no. He says, to give you this information would be to infringe upon free will or confusion for some living. Now I'm going to tell you the question. The questioner says, then I am assuming all of the groups getting telepathic contact from the Confederation. That's just what they call the higher beings of the divine. Are highly proprietary targets for other groups, right? The groups of the Orions and other groups. The questioner says, I would assume a large percentage of them are having their messages polluted. Can you tell me what percentage of them there is? And if any of them are able to remain pure in the channel? Ra again says, to give you this information would be to infringe upon the free will or confuse some of the living. Ra, through all of his books, honors your free will. Imagine how precious that free will is. Imagine the driver being your free will of your consciousness. Now imagine your consciousness being too massive to fill your body. It'll overflow. Now imagine that driver of the consciousness so overflowing that it connects with Marcus's consciousness, my consciousness, and it flows in and out. That's wholeness. Drivers just flowing in and out, in and out, in and out, up and down, all around. And not even in a straight line. How cosmic is that? There was a movie that Bruce Willis played in where he had to protect this weapon, and it was a woman, right? I I think it was the woman that also played in a lot of the zombie movies, right? I think it's called The Fifth Element is the movie, I think. And they did a lot of the sky routine where the cars were moving back and forth and everywhere, right? And one of the scenes was he had to drive his taxi with her in the back seat, and he was being chased and moving all through the element of the air. Now close your eyes for a minute if you've seen that movie and imagine everything being consciousness. And our vehicle, our body's vehicles just moving without ever walking on the ground. We're being propelled by the driver of consciousness, being the all that is and is not. And that all that is and is not is honoring our free will on how we want to move. And guess what? Some of us are not conscious of it. And that's okay. Because the divine, that driver is still moving us. Imagine all that consciousness, all that cosmic flow everywhere, all at once. It's organized chaos. That's why our mind can't grapple it, because it's chaos. And it needs to slow it down and move it in a straight line so it can figure it out. It needs to figure it out for us. But consciousness knows that it is aware. And once upon a time, we used to flow through that before we took form. And all of that is the expression of the divine honors our free will. They answered the call of earth consciousness every time she called. And every time they came, they honored. She told them, you got to honor free will before you come in and start doing your grid work and start holding space and taking on foreign bodies to lift up my light quotient so I can shift. You got to honor the fact that free will is vibratorily necessary for this expansion and growth. I'm going to read it to you again. Ra says, to give this information to you would infringe upon the free will, or it would confuse some of the living. I can't tell you who's doing what or what they're not doing. I can tell you that they're doing, that they're being. And then you, the vessel that's broadcasting, can go and discern the information being given to you because it's being given. In books that we read, in movies that we watch, in music that we listen to. But no, the expressions that are of the whole have a right to free will, and we cannot usurp their free will. Unless, guess what? You ask. Oh, let's quote the Bible. Ask, believe, and receive. And then let's throw something in there. You ask. To believe is to embody. To receive is to allow it in and then take hold of it and use it.
Before you continue too, I want to add, so keep in mind, what you could ask for or what your intentions could be. It could be, through a different person, different place or thing than what we may have an expectation of, so to say. So, you say we want something specific. But then we're trying to hold on to identity or a single person being what that is that you're wanting and setting your intentions for. But keep in mind, sometimes that person, that thing that we may want that to be what our intention is, may not be ready for that, may not be in the vibratory field due to their own free will. And that's something to consider when we're sharing this sacred universe together. Is not only does Marcus, this individual, however you like to identify this figure, have free will, but Sandee has free will. Kaya has free will. My dad has free will. The doctors, workers, the presidential candidates, they all have their own free will as well. So just keep in mind that, yes, out of our free will and our intentions, we may want something with somebody, but they also have to have some type of match vibrationally or intention out of their own free will to be willing to embark upon that journey with you. Like, we can't force someone to be in a relationship with us just because that is what we want or that is what our intention is. There's ways that, you know, you ask for what you ask for, but there's, I kind of talked about this last time, you know, there's gonna be a process, there's gonna be different kind of stipulations, so to say, that will come with that in order to achieve or to have that in your life. So if you want to really have a deep relationship with somebody, just know, like, there's going to be some things you'll have to learn about them. There's things you'll have to start learning about your own self while being in a dynamic with them. And there's other things that'll come with that as well. And on top of that, the other living being has got to have the free will and the willpower in their own self to want to make the choice to also be a part of your intention and what you're putting your free will into. So just some things to consider. Just remembering that, you know, as the I am, and there's many other millions and billions of I ams,
Right.
we all have our own free will. And that's where resonance comes in, as well as cooperation and collaboration.
Oh, I love that. Cooperation, collaboration, and resonance. All in.
Back to you.
All in resonance, cooperation, and collaboration. All in one. That came out of one octave. I want to add, before I finish this little paragraph, with the thing is, we are so pulled by the information of soulmate. We're so pulled by the information of our what is that called? Our now I can't even remember. It's soulmate, and it's our twin flame, right? And we're pulled by that. There's only one soulmate, and if you don't find him here in this lifetime, then you got to come back and do it again. And twin flame. Oh man, if my twin flame is somebody that is not for my highest and greatest good, I still got to do this story, because there's only one of those. Well, that denotes limitation. It really does. I had to really meditate on that one a lot. That was an embodied question that I kept going back, is I would ask the divine, if you're telling me that I have infinite possibilities and then turning around and giving me this information from many, many different books and people with workshops and showing this, then how is this wholeness if I miss my if by some chance I didn't wake up in time and I miss my soulmate, I'm not going to get another one. Or I'm destined to have only one twin flame, right? And it's a relationship that's a lovey-dovey relationship. It's personal and you know, because I always thought that my twin flame was my baby brother, that we were just separated by 3 years, but he finishes all my sentence. He's a Gemini like I am. We are we are connected. We've been doing this a long time. That's how I felt. And the divine confirmed that for me. But the divine says you can have any story that you want. Those who want to have a story that they only have one soulmate, and if they miss it, they're fucked, then let that be so. They can only have one. They have a twin flame, but the twin flame, they're having a tumultuous relationship and they don't want to leave it because that's their twin flame. Then the divine says, let that be so. You have free will. The person that you're with has free will. If you want to have something different than what you have the free will to push the opt-out button and change your story. Everyone has free will. You can look at somebody and say, he's my mate, but you've got to ask yourself, are you looking into that with the spirit telling you and allowing you to see that? That which you cannot see with your physical eyes, is that the divine showing you that that's your mate? But if your mate is married or with another person and happily married and happily with another person, you're going to have to go back and sit at the seat of your soul and find out where that information is coming from. Do you take what resonates, leave what doesn't? It's about free will. It's not about stalking somebody till they change their free will and stop being happy with another person so that they can be with you because you found out that that's your person. Or you found out that that's your person and you have to change that person's personality to meet you. That's your person. And you're vegan and you're holistic and you're living this life, and this other person has not stopped drinking, they have not stopped smoking, they have not done anything, but you had a reading and somebody told you that that's your person. You have to go sit at the seat of your soul and say, with free will, is this truly the person that you have for me? Let me see those things which I cannot see with my physical eyes, which I cannot hear with my physical ears. Show me that. I need to go into the depths of me and find out what's really me, for my highest and greatest good, and for the highest of greatest good that you've appointed for somebody else to be for you. Right? Back to you, Marcus. I don't know. That might be for somebody later on in the replay. I don't know. He might have stepped away for a minute. So I'm going to finish reading this paragraph. Ross says, we can only ask each group to consider the relative effect of philosophy and your so-called specific information. It is not the specificity of the information that attracts a negative influence. It is the importance placed upon it. What importance you place upon something. What importance you place upon something that feels negative to you. And you focus on that negative. All the universe knows to do is to bring you more of that. If you're focusing on things not going as it is expected, if you're looking at the outcome and you're focusing on it possibly not being the outcome that you want, then that which you focus on is going to be your vibration. Kaya says on my Instagram, says, yes, some people get twin flames confused with lust, feeling a void, etc. I've seen it a lot over the years. There are platonic soulmates and twin flames for sure, but people get lost in the story because they romanticize the story. Marcus, are you there? Marcus, are you there? Okay, we're just going to be patient. So let me then go to the next, right? We're going to go to the next read, okay? The divine wanted you to know about fifth density. This is what Ross says about it. The fifth density is the density of light and wisdom. It's believed that Earth consciousness has already shifted beyond fifth density, beyond the light and the wisdom, right? The so-called negative service to self. Remember, service to self is that you serve yourself no matter who you hurt doing it or how you get it. And our souls, our higher beings, have a free will to choose either service to self or service to all, and then in service to all, which is the positive polarity, you are taken care of. You're not worried about yourself because you know that all your needs are met. You know that you're growing, expanding. You know that you're shifting. You know that you're evolving, and you're willing to do it in service to others. Others include self, wholeness, right? Ross says, the so-called negative service to self entity is the density, in this density is at a light level of awareness and wisdom and has ceased activity except by thought. The fifth density, negative, is extraordinarily impacted and separate from all else. It means you grow and expand. It means that you start seeing in fifth density consciousness, you start seeing third density in a different polarity. So some of those political figures that you're seeing are doing the negative polarity. By the time they get to fifth density, they're going to see it a whole different way. They're going to expand if they so choose. If they choose to shift, remember, it's a free will choice. It's a free will choice. Once again, we're honoring, or we're, okay, the divine wanted me to say we're, so I'm going to say it. We're honoring our free will choice as wholeness, as love and light, unconditional love and light. Got that? Unconditional love and unconditional light. We were born unconditional love. We were born unconditional love. We were born unconditional love. We were born unconditional light. We just didn't recall it. And Kaya says, feeling the void. When you're filling the void with unconditional love and unconditional light, is it void anymore? Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Right? Take what resonates. It's all about you. That's not selfish. The questioner asks, I don't fully understand what you mean. Let's go up a few more. The questioner says, he's talking about UFOs. He says, I'm assuming is to create an air of mystery with the UFO phenomenon. He's assuming that it's a mystery, right? He says, the questioner says, then by telepathy, send many messages, the UFOs, send many messages that could be accepted or rejected under the law of one, right? He's looking at them as separate, even though in this whole book, Ra keeps reminding him that UFOs are an expression of the divine. Right? So, Ross says, there are other services we may perform. Firstly, the integration of souls and spirits, if you will, in the event of use of nuclear devices in your space-time continuum. This is the Confederation has already done. Why? Because in the book of the Divine Design, they said that in order to come play on Earth, higher entities that take on form bodies could not destroy Earth consciousness's body, no matter what. There is no opt-out clause for that. That the divine would intercede. The questioner says that I don't fully understand that. It's okay. Ra's going to say, I am Ra. To the use of intelligent energy transforming matter into energy is of such a nature among these weapons that the transition from space-time third density to space-time third density, or what you may call your heaven worlds, is interrupted in any cases. The divine has the ability. Hey, I've been given this dream several. I can't tell you more than several times, more than I can remember. That the dreamer that's dreaming of the dreamer having the dream can stop dreaming anytime it so chooses. Why? Because it's the dreamer. Wow. Wow. We've dropped bombs, but we have not destroyed the earth. We have destroyed proximity. That's what the divine is telling me right now. Mankind of humankind, womankind of humankind, doesn't matter which it is, doesn't matter who will be president or dictator or whatnot, they will not destroy Earth's body. The divine has it locked in that will never happen. Because the divine, the dreamer, who is having the dream about dreaming about being Earth consciousness, and every man, woman, and child here says that's not going to happen. But it's okay if you keep thinking it. Why? Because it's your free will to think it. And I'll give you a version of it. And the version is that there are proximities that get destroyed on Earth, on actual Earth consciousness, her body. But her body heals. Regardless of how bad we talk about her body hurting. Regardless of how we intentionally put all that energy into the negativity of her hurt instead of into the positivity of her growth. Giving her thanks that she's healing herself from inward out. Growth and expansion is what Earth consciousness came to do. She came to play in a playground, and she came to shift in energy, in consciousness, in form. And then she asked every higher being that she knew to come play with her. Every expression of the divine to come play with her. And then the divine, those higher beings that sculpted us and sculpted us gloriously for the playground. If you were sculpted and you came into this earth process, Ra wants you to go inward and ask why you were born with one arm. Why you were born with two legs, one arm, and everything else normal. There's a reason. Go ask your higher being, what did you come to experience when you created me? Maybe your higher being might say, I want people to look at the rest, see if they could see the rest of me without seeing what I don't have. People who are born blind, there's a reason. They say they could see everything in their mind's eye without seeing everything. All you got to do is give them your visual of the rose, and they can take it even further. You could tell them, oh, the rose is red and it's got thorns, and then they take it into their third eye or their first eye, and they have all the visions that they can do, the things that they can speak of, the glory that they can tell you. Wondrous. Exciting. Back to you, Marcus. Thank you.
Be in this world, but not of it.
Oh, that's a good question. Could your twin flame be your soulmate?
Be in this world, but not of it.
Yes.
Just
I did
a pass-through journey with our plane.
Marcus, you want to answer
What's
Royal King's question? I don't know how to put that up on the screen, but that's a really good question. I didn't notice it.
Royal King?
Mm-hmm.
Can a twin flame become your soulmate after time of separation? Okay, this question, very 3D. Okay, so number one, we're all subject to change. Nothing is going to forever be a soul relationship with you. As in, since we're all subject to change, then that means, yeah, it's possible. It's possible as a vibrational direct mirror of you on a soul level, which is what a twin flame is someone that is a direct mirror for you and your path at that time, can then become a soulmate. Now, of course, there's many different definitions and views about these things, but for me, a soulmate is someone that pretty much has a significant part of our life, this whole lifetime, whatever it may be. And that could be someone that's your romantic partner. It could be your pet. It could be your mom, friend in the community. There's all sorts. You know, biggest thing I have to say really about this stuff is don't get too attached to it. Don't get too sucked to the matrix of twin flame, soulmate, to where you're just going through your life and these illusions of what we are with each other. For me, it's more of just focusing on being present, embracing whatever connection is taking place, trying to grow with it, trying to build with it, trying to learn with that other person, no matter if they are a twin flame, our soulmate, our mom, our child, our pet, whatever it may be. Just being able to see the divine, being able to see the I am, being able to see the creator, the self within everybody, knowing that in a higher reality, every single one of us are soulmates for each other. We're all mates of the soul. So this is why I really don't talk about, it's why you don't see me posting about, why you don't see me boosting and manufacturing these whole twin flame and soulmate things, is because it kind of puts us in a position, right or wrong to it, but it kind of puts us in a lower density position where we're feeling like we need to depend upon these things, or that we feel like we're either lost or we're not this or we're not that, we don't have our quote unquote twin flame, our soulmate in our life. So last thing I'll say is try to catch yourself. You know, if you find yourself kind of reeling that wire, that fishing pole too far out there, and you're starting to become consumed about this stuff, you're starting to lose your morale, you're starting to lose your psychological well-being over if someone is your partner or not, or your twin flame. Just, you know, keep in mind of that. Try to stay conscious of how much by that, and try to create boundaries around it if it's something that's really consuming you.
Right.
and
I agree.
is taking you away from the beauty of being present and just enjoying life. But yeah, I don't have finite answers for you when it comes to twin flames and soulmates, because everything is always changing and our dynamics with each other change.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. More than anything, just remember your divine union within, and know that through your natural inner divine union, then you will naturally and organically attract who is of that type of resonance and vibration to match your inner divine union. And the more you continue to focus on your own inner union, build that balance, build that healing, and that you won't have to think about if it's your twin flame or soulmate, because you know that you're doing exactly what you need to in order to be in the position and to be in the vibratory field to attract someone that is perfectly vibrational for you and where you're at. And that's another thing too, is we'll continue to attract where we're at when it comes to our healing process, the patterns we haven't addressed, the patterns that we have implemented, and we'll get mirrors and reflections based off of where we're at with that.
Yes.
And yeah, just more than anything within, continuing to find ways to balance that inner masculine and feminine, and have that trust, that faith in the divine, that through my actions, through my devotion of my inner union, knowing that my is the inner temple to my outer world, I will naturally draw in and attract my twin flame or soulmate due to my actions, my intention, and my embodiment. Great question. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Great answer. Great infinite possibility of an answer, right? There's always going to be a slight variance to the answer that Marcus says, depending on where you're coming from, right? I just love it. It's my thing is, once the higher being leaves this body, this form, a higher being can do whatever it wants to do. It can choose to come back in any way it chooses to come back. It can come back as a soulmate. It can choose not to even play on Earth's playground for a while. It gets to choose. The foreign body and the mind thinks that it can control what's going to happen in the spirit realm afterwards. And when we let go of that part of the control and just go with the flow, be in flow state and say, well, for right now, in my now moment that I am here, I'm going to enjoy meeting the people that I meet and seeing who's vibrating in my vibratory field. It doesn't matter to me whether it's a soulmate or a twin flame. I'm just going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy, instead of judging everything, I get to discern it. And then I get to take on what fits me. And if I go on one date with one person and that vibe, that, how you say, oh, that vibe didn't feel good, you get to take from that vibe that didn't feel good and go, oh, okay, let me try something else. He's not the one. And guess what? When somebody doesn't text you back after a date, they're probably not the one. And how much energy are you going to put into the fact that they didn't text you back or they didn't call you back? Go sit at the seat of your soul and go, I feel like that's not the one, right? But we have been taught from birth that we want to spend time on people that don't want us. We've been just taught that way. They don't want us. We need to seek and find out why. And then we need to change them instead of letting them flow. I love choose who chooses you. If they are around for your highest and greatest good. Yes, right? Both of you should do audiobooks because your voices are soothing. Ah, yes. Do you know what? Faith, love.
Thank you.
I've been toying with that, but I got a lot going on right now. But I'm going to tell you, that's like the divine put that on my back burner, and it's the fact that you said that, it's on the back burner. You know, I love reading, so I do reading on Instagram. So when you see the invite, go out, come join me. You know, because I do love to read. But you answered that so perfectly. We as the spiritual community, we do the same thing that religious dogma does. We put labels on everything. We label everything, and then we allow people to fester in the labels so that they don't grow and expand, because they're trying to figure out, should I grow and expand this way? And then they go to somebody else's page that has another label, and they get confused. They go, well, should I be here or should I be there? Oh, I'm not doing it right. Instead of just saying, just be you. Go seek you. Go into that void of the unknown that's within you, and seek you out. What is for your highest and greatest good? That's all Ra is saying. You have free will. I honor that. That's what Ra says. I honor free will. So I have to watch how I say things so that you don't think that usurps your free will. Usurp means to go above it. To go above what you have and make what somebody else has more in the that's the domain. Your domain is what matters. Your growth, your expansion, what happens for you. If somebody is not for your highest and greatest good of you, don't go trying to change them to make them fit your mold. It means you're putting in way too much energy to force somebody to be what they may not want to be according to their highest and greatest free will. That's all Ra is saying. I can give you information, the questions that you may ask me, some of them I cannot expound on, because that will go against the free will of humanity, and that will make them make a decision that might not be for their highest and greatest good. So you might want to ask people who have been to the future, well, tell me my future. Well, that's an infinite possibility of a future. And if they tell you that, then you're going to stop living in your now. You're going to want to try to do everything to make it that future. And then you are not going to be living in your now, in your unique, growing exponentially as your unique you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Right? She says, I hope that you feel better.
Oh, man.
Says, I hope you feel better, Marcus.
Oh, she's having a conversation with Blue Goddess.
Oh,
They're
Blue
having
Goddess.
a lovely conversation together.
Okay. All right, I misunderstood. Keep having the conversation. You know. So, wow, we've done 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Great to see you goddesses having a wonderful connection and chat in the comments.
Kaya says,
Last thing I want to say about the
what is TF? What is the abbreviation for TF? I think she's still She says, Kaya says, I've seen it a lot through the years with the TF/soulmate discuss. Oh, yeah. Twin flame. I got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know,
I think those
last thing I'm gonna
conversations.
touch on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say last thing I was gonna touch on with that is man,
Yeah.
just
I love you.
be wary. Be wary of the propaganda. Be wary through your discernment of those that are trying to take advantage of others by using these slangs and these terms and these lingos. Be discerning. Allow yourself to really analyze and process the being that you're interacting with. That may be from the get-go as soon as they meet you. All because you're spiritual and they're spiritual, or you guys study esoteric knowledge together. All of a sudden they hop onto the bandwagon. You're my twin flame. As soon as they meet you and they have one spiritual interaction with you, it means you're their twin flame. Be careful of that. Be wary of that type of energy. Really be discerning. Observe the being. You know, are they just jumping from an unhealed place into a codependency? Are they just throwing things out there to grab on? And then watch your own self too if you find yourself jumping to conclusions like that. You know, we may find someone on Instagram. Wow, look at their profile. They do all these spiritual things that I do. That must mean they're my soulmate or my twin flame. Well, honey, I got to tell you, there's millions of spiritual people on this planet. There's millions of people that like to study knowledge. Just because someone's spiritual and just because someone studies knowledge does not mean they're your direct partner for you. So please don't allow those to be excuses for just jumping to a conclusion like that without really sitting with yourself, really discerning the connection, discerning where you're at, discerning what you're picking up from the other person.
Discerning. That's the word.
So I've been through that myself. I personally don't project that myself when I meet people, but I've had others project that onto me when they've met me. And yeah, just be cautious of that, because also what can tend to happen is either from ourselves or the other person, we could just be like, oh, they're a twin flame, they're a soulmate, I found them. Now I'm going to put in no effort. Now I'm going to put in no work to make this relationship develop, to actually build this relationship consciously. Because we're a twin flame. I met you, you're my twin flame. There's no work for me to do on myself. There's no work for me to do and help you with. There's no work for us to do in this relationship. We just met each other. We're twin flames. It's all going to happen. Just keep in mind of that as well. I've seen it myself, you know, basically using it as an escape or, you know, an excuse to not put any effort into actually developing step by step, you know, a real genuine relationship with somebody, really getting to know who they are and their authentic nature, besides just labeling them as, oh, my twin flame. Boom.
Boom.
I don't need to know anything about you.
Bada boom, right?
But that's what I got, guys.
Yeah. Goddess Love 88, Casey says, but it could mean that they are. It could mean whatever you want it to mean. Remember, you're the creator. So if you want to believe that somebody's your, because they look good, they look good on paper, then and you believe that, the divine says, let it be so, and it'll be so. And then guess what?
Go find out.
I found out. It took me a couple of months to recover from that shit. That's what that was for me. But that was also an opening for me to find out how closed off my heart chakra was. So everything, it was a spiritual. I had to do the spiritual work. I had to go inward and ask myself some embodying questions, and some of that shit hurt, because I assumed, I always, as a kid, I loved love at first sight. And love at first sight, or spiritual, or soulmates, or twin flames, there's nothing wrong with them. But if you're not doing the discernment, if you're not doing the focus, if you're not really sitting with yourself and going beyond the wanting, or beyond the being told that, oh, that person's your soulmate. They did a card reading and they said, and they actually named the person, right? And you flowed with it. There's nothing with going with the flow. There's nothing wrong with that. But if at each and every turn you're getting intuitive signs that that's not it, it's not working for you, you have to work too hard at getting the person to notice you, or changing the way they do things so that they flow with you, then that's not a natural flow. But it doesn't mean that other person has to go sit at their seat. That means that you have to sit at yours, because you can't make them go sit at their seat and acknowledge that, that's why the labels can hinder you as well as they can open you up. It just depends on where you're at when you're acknowledging those labels. But it's no different than being of the world with the labels that you hate so much from religion, or political affiliations, or schools, or whatever, in any area of your life. It's meaning that when you have a spiritual awakening, it's just you coming into acknowledging that there is that triune part of you, that part of you that came from the divine, that you are going to have a personal relationship, that it's moving, that the divine is moving in, through, and as you, and you're aware of it now. That's the only spiritual difference than being of the world. You're aware of your growth and expansion as you see it from body and mind. But now you're aware of being triune. That all of these can be a possibility in working in your life for your highest and greatest good. Or not. Or not. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You don't have to call yourself spiritual, because guess what? That's another fucking label. You can just call yourself, I am. I am that. I am. And then go have some fucking fun. Not just fun, but that's my adjective. Go have some fucking fun. Don't think about twin flames. Don't think about soulmates. Don't think about any of that. Just go have some fun, meeting people, enjoying people, seeing what they're doing, seeing how they're living, deciding if you want to go back to that club, or go back to that park, or go back to that go and enjoy another concert. If you want to go to a B&B and have a vacation, whether you want to enjoy yourself working, There are some people that love to work. There are some people that love to work for other people. There are some people that don't want to have their own business. There are some people that want to learn how to use the law of attraction in their everyday job, in their everyday life, to grow and expand. There are some people that don't want to have a label, they just want to be. This is what the Ra is saying. We honor that. We have to honor the free will choice for you to choose who you want to be and what you want to do, because this is the gift that you were given. And that's a powerful gift that all of the expressions of the divine have to honor you. Holy shit. Even in your dream state, they have to honor you. Even in you moving through your astral planes, they have to honor you. So if you are being bombarded by an alien that's when you do your dream walking, and they're beating you up in that state of being, it's only because you gave them permission. You gave them permission because you gave energy to it. You have the opt-out clause that you can push that energy button and say, nope, you can't come in through the fourth density that way. You can't come in through that earth grid that way. I know that's how you come in, but the divine being told me that you can't come in that way. I'm not letting you in that way. You have to honor me. So you get to say that before you go to sleep. Honor me in sleep. I want to go play in a couple of realms, but I ain't playing with you. You could tell higher beings that want to play and don't want to honor your free will. Anyway, I gotta go. Even though I don't want to go, but I gotta go.
It's time to go.
It's time.
I gotta hit the road.
I gotta
333.
go. Yes. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 3. Right here. And an extra 3 on there. 1, 2, 3.
Juicy
3.
stuff. Juicy
Yeah.
stuff.
I love you, Kaya. I love you. I love everybody that came in this room. The divine loves you. The divine led you to come and be part and ask questions. Sit at the seat of your soul. You are a sovereign creator and co-creator in a human body with a fabulous conscious mind. Go create today. Go be that authentic, awesome you today. Thank you for joining us.
What a beautiful episode. And to close out, I just want to give you guys also the reminder that remember your presence. Remember being present with what is and what you do have in your life. And know that there is always infinite space to be able to let go, open up, and call in for something else. And then last thing is also really basic, fundamental of the law of attraction. In order for us to really attract through embodied faith, embodied knowingness of what we put out will come to us, keep in mind, are we staying attached? Are we in an attachment surrounding this twin flame and soulmate thing, to where we're fixating on it every single day, having trouble sleeping over it, things of that nature? Well, in the law of attraction, that slows down the process for you, creates resistance from your embodiment of a lack of faith in what it is that you've commanded with the Creator to come into your field. So when that happens, we can then, of course, there's other possibilities, but we can then attract relationships that we may think, because of our blinders, is a twin flame or soulmate, because of how much we fixated on it and became consumed. But then we get that good old smack in the face from reality.
Yep. Go.
And we get more lessons to
Wake
learn.
up. Yep. You go, shit,
That sense,
that just happened.
that sense of wholeness, and come back to ourselves. Kind of start back over with our mindset of where we're. So keep in mind of that. You know, are we attached and consumed about attracting this soulmate or twin flame? Or are we going with the body, the frequency, and attract what it is that we are wanting to bring into our life? Don't lose sight of yourself because of somebody else. Don't lose sight of yourself because of what you want in your life. But remember that it is up to you, a sovereign, conscious co-creator, through your action and embodiment and intention, that it will be delivered to you. It is already here for you, but it's up to you to match that frequency, that embodiment.
It is. It is already here.
With that being said,
Here, here, and here.
that's right.
So thank you. What's today? Today is Wednesday. That means we're going to see you on Sunday at 3:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 6:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Because you go get another dose of the raw material. You go get another dose of ascending beyond limitations.
Another dose.
Another dose. So join us. Thank you for joining us and join us.
Everybody have a blessed day. Wholeness and balanced love. And thank you to all of you that participated, shared your comments, shared your energy throughout the live. I look forward to continuing the journey on Sunday.
Take care. Be the creator, conscious creator that you were meant to be today, and do it gloriously. One love.
One love.